welcome Sue Ott Rollins, President and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, to the podium.
Although I appreciate the promotion, I'm very clear that I'm simply the warm-up act for our president. Good morning, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful holiday with your family and friends and enjoyed the break that we all got. And I thank you for joining us for this morning's convocation. At this time, I'd like to welcome several members of our Board of Regents, starting with our chair, Dennis Repenning. Regent Steve Meyer is here, Regent Jacqueline Emmerine, and Regent John Jose. Thank you for joining us today. And I also want to thank our talented faculty who just wowed us with that rendition of our national anthem, and also to welcome our student entertainers this morning, and they'll perform for us shortly. The principal theme of today's convocation is to mark the one-year anniversary of the launch of our strategic plan. In a few minutes, the President will talk about our plans to enhance and focus the NKU brand, and he will also talk about his recent tour of the Commonwealth, what we have called the Road to NKU. But first, the President has asked that I provide you with a brief update on our strategic plan. By way of background, and I know you all know this, but I'm going to remind you, the Board of Regents approved our Fuel the Flame strategic plan in November of 2013. And since then, we've made excellent progress in its implementation. It's been a busy year. It's been a productive year. And we all should be proud of what we have achieved so far. We're grateful to the hundreds of faculty and staff who invested their time and energy in the implementation process in 2014. Our direction and progress couldn't have been accomplished without your contribution and your dedication. Since my arrival to campus last January, I've had the pleasure of meeting so many people and learning so much about what we do here at NKU. And I've come to understand that there is indeed something special happening at Northern Kentucky University. I've learned that we're more than dreamers. I've learned that we're achievers. And our success comes from hard work and dedication. These two qualities, hard work and dedication, are fueling a bright path to 2018, when we will celebrate our 50th anniversary and the successful completion of our new strategic plan. In this era of renewed commitment to being a student-focused university, each of us must rededicate ourselves to the success of our students. And each of us must lead with a strong work ethic, which I know we have, and a strong sense of determination. And each of us must commit to making a lasting impact on the lives of our students. We began the strategic plan implementation process with a planning collaboration retreat last January in this very room, involving members of 9 university-wide implementation teams. More than 100 colleagues participated in this retreat. Then, during the spring and summer semesters, these implementation teams hosted 14 open forums to gather more ideas from faculty, staff, and students. And following these meetings, the teams drafted their final reports and recommendations. Then in August, we brought on board our Senior Advisor for Inclusive Excellence, Dr. Kathleen Roberts. And during the fall semester, she led the effort to develop our 10th implementation plan on inclusive excellence. The process and the documents from all these teams are available to the campus community on the NKU website. Periodic updates were given by President Mearns to the Board of Regents at their meetings and through emails to the campus-wide community. With all 10 implementation plans written, we had more than 300 strategies that were recommended by our teams. It was a lot. Turns out, luckily, that many of those strategies overlapped and complemented each other. They aligned to support three key focus areas of the strategic plan: the creation of a health innovation center, the commitment to transdisciplinary education, and a focus on student success, beginning with stronger recruitment and retention efforts. The executive team held several focus meetings to review and prioritize these recommendations, and the strategies have now been embedded within the 4-year strategic plans that each division, college, and major organizational unit developed this fall. These strategies were used to help develop another important element of the strategic planning process, our executive dashboard. An executive dashboard is a progress report whose purpose is to monitor and evaluate the university's effectiveness at achieving our goals in the 5 major areas of our strategic plan. The dashboard was developed with broad consultation from faculty, staff, and administrators. The Board of Regents approved the metrics, and an interactive web-based version was built. You see it up there. It's made available to the public on the NKU website. So we've made good progress on a number of these metrics. In other areas, we've had modest improvement, and in other areas, improvement is needed. For example, we continue to see an increase in the number of degrees awarded. This is one of our overarching gold standards for student success. For the 2013-14 academic year, we awarded 2,919 degrees. This is the highest number in NKU history. That is a cause for celebration. Our annual increases of degrees awarded continue to increase at the same time other Kentucky universities are seeing declines in degrees awarded. Even more impressive is the total number of NKU degrees conferred over the past 10 years. We have achieved a 40% increase in degrees awarded, while the statewide average increase has only been 21%, nearly half of our growth. NKU's 10-year growth in degrees awarded surpasses all other Kentucky institutions. Another bright note among our dashboard metrics is the first to second year retention rate. We saw modest improvement with nearly 70% of our fall 2014 first-time full-time cohort returning this fall. We almost made 70%. This was a 2% increase over the previous year, and it was the highest retention rate we have had in 8 years. National data demonstrates that more students graduate when they complete 30 or more credits in their first year, and our data shows the same trend. Our students do better academically, and they're more successful at continuing their education when they are encouraged to complete 30 hours per year. But let me be clear. Our enrollment is driven by 2 factors: recruitment of new students and retention of current students at both the undergraduate and graduate levels. Our new Vice President of Enrollment and Degree Management, Kimberly Scranage, and her team have identified new strategies that will help us achieve our enrollment goals. Although our overall enrollment has declined in recent years, a bright note is that a number of our undergraduate students from underrepresented minority groups has continued to increase each year. Last fall, we had a 5% increase in the number of undergraduate students who are African American, Latino, or identify with 2 or more races. We attribute the rise in these numbers to 2 specific programs that were created to improve our retention and graduation rates of these 2 groups of students. Our LAMP program provides Latino students with a support system of fellow students, faculty, staff, and local organizations to help them achieve academic and social success at NKU and beyond. And our NKU Rocks program assists first-year African-American students with a similar support system throughout their undergraduate experience. Fall 2013, first-time freshman African-American students who participated in the NKU Rocks program had a retention rate of 83%, while Latino students who participated in the LAMP program had a retention rate of 80%. These retention rates are higher than their fellow African-American and Latino cohort members who did not participate in these programs. So those programs work. In addition to the executive dashboard, we've developed an annual report that highlights our progress in achieving the goals articulated in the strategic plan. An electronic version is available on the NKU website, and a printed copy has been mailed to state representatives, major donors, and other community members who have worked closely with the university. At this time, I'd like to share a few examples of the achievements listed in our 2014 annual report, successes for which we can all be proud. Let me begin with what is arguably our greatest institutional achievement this past year: a state approval to provide $97 million to build our Health Innovation Center. The decision to invest this extraordinary amount of capital in NKU is a testament to the state's faith in our ability to deliver innovative programs and research that benefit our students and our community. This new facility will incorporate an integrated portfolio of programs to provide solutions to the health and wellness challenges facing the Commonwealth, the country, and indeed the world. This fall, NKU will begin construction of the new facility. When it opens in 2017, the Health Innovation Center will enable us to offer a wide range of healthcare programs and integrate those programs with other disciplines, creating unique transdisciplinary offerings that integrate the arts, humanities, social and natural sciences with programs in our professional schools. A complete report from the Internal Advisory Committee for the Health Innovation Center will be ready by the end of this month, and it will be posted on the HIC website so you can all see it. Another important achievement bodes well for our students and alumni. For the second consecutive year, Affordable Colleges Online has ranked NKU as having the highest return on investment among Kentucky colleges and universities. We're proud of this distinction, and we know that our graduates have been successful in achieving their dreams. Now let me offer an example of how NKU continues to support talent development. NKU now has partnerships with 26 area high schools for dual credit courses. More than 980 students are now earning college credits before they graduate from high school. This is a 52% increase over 2013. And this program helps to contribute to future undergraduate enrollment. In the area of community engagement, NKU student athletes completed 1,649 hours of community service in 2013-14. We're proud of this achievement, particularly given the large amount of time and energy these students commit to their studies and to their athletic endeavors. With a nearly $300,000 grant from the Department of Justice, their Office on Violence Against Women, NKU created Norse Violence Prevention Project. The project's aim is to develop and strengthen effective responses to violence against women. We invite you to go online to view the annual report as a whole and to celebrate with us the many achievements we've made this past year. We will continue our progress, reaching new levels of achievement as we continue to work on the execution of our strategic plan. Finally, I'd like to reiterate some of my earlier comments. I cannot overstate the importance of each of us in the area of let me try that again. I cannot overstate the importance of each of us committing to the success of our students. That's what I wanted to say. Each of us must lead with focused determination. Each of us must find a way to make a lasting impact. And each of us must work every day to put our students first. I'm reminded of a simple yet profound quote by Helen Keller, who said, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much." Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce our student performers.
Waiting here underneath your window, hoping for some kind of sign. Every move, every tiny gesture only proves that you're not mine. I could write you 1,000 love songs, search the world for the perfect tune and rhyme. But what good would it do when it seems I'm out of time? If I told you all the words I've yet to say, would they matter, or would you simply turn and walk away? If I hold you, would you tell me I should go? Do I chance it, or would it just be better not to know?
Who's that girl with the perfect future? Her reflection says it all. Trying hard to pretend she's eager, searching for some way to stall. So unsure of the road she's chosen, faced with feelings her heart should not allow. One thing certain, it seems that she just can't turn back now. If she can, tell her how. If I told you all the words I had to say, would they matter, or would you simply turn and walk away?
If I hold you,
would
you tell me I should go?
Do I chance it, or would it just be better not to know? Would it just be better not to know?
I wanna make you smile whenever you're sad, carry you around when your arthritis is bad. All I wanna do is grow old with you. I'll get you medicine when your tummy aches, build you a fire if the furnace breaks. It could be so nice growing old with you. I'll miss you, kiss you, get you my coat when you are cold, need you, feed you, even let you hold the remote control. So let me do the dishes in our kitchen sink, put you to bed when you've had too much to drink. Oh, I could be the one who grows old with you. I'll miss you, kiss you, take your shoes off and rub your feet, need you, feed you, and when we play checkers I'll let you cheat. So let me do the dishes in our kitchen sink, put you to bed when you've had too much to drink. Oh, I could be the one who grows old with you. I wanna grow old with you.
Please welcome President Jeffrey Mearns to the podium.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege. It's a privilege today and every day to serve as the president of Northern Kentucky University. Thank you for joining us this morning, and thank all of you, for your service to our students, to our university, and to our community. And speaking of our students, how about those talented students? So that's Katie Miller. Please stand, Katie. Noah Berry. They performed a couple of songs from The Wedding Singer, which they put on this past fall, and they were accompanied this morning by Professor Damon Stevens. Thank you, Damon. So last year at this convocation, I had the honor of presenting our new strategic plan. And as the provost observed, this plan, Fuel the Flame, will guide us to the 2018, the 50th anniversary of the founding of our university. And the provost provided a brief update on the implementation of our plan. And like she, I am pleased with the progress that we've made so far, but as we all know, there is much more work to do. And this morning, I want to talk about some of that work. And let me just give you just a little bit of context. At the end of the fall convocation in August, I said that too often I've heard that our university is a hidden gem. And I've heard that we are the best kept secret in the Commonwealth. And I also said at that time, you know, it's great to be a gem, but we know it's not too good to be hidden, and it really isn't very good to be a secret. So I announced in August that we were going to implement 2 new strategies to increase awareness of our university in our region and throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The first initiative is to enhance our brand, to define more clearly who we are, both visually and verbally. And the second initiative, as the provost mentioned, is the statewide tour, which we called the Road to NKU. As you may recall, our strategic plan calls for the university to develop and execute a comprehensive marketing, communication, and branding plan. This past year, with some external assistance, we inventoried our current marketing and branding position. We then conducted extensive qualitative and quantitative research, which included responses from more than 600 people. We surveyed current and prospective students. We surveyed faculty, staff, donors, alumni, business leaders, and community leaders. All of these key stakeholders were asked to share their perceptions of our university. They were also asked to evaluate various descriptions of NKU. These descriptions were aspirational, yet realistic statements that tell the story of our university. This feedback has been very helpful. In fact, many of the responses were insightful and passionate. Many people emphasized our academic creativity, our academic innovation, and the need to inform the public about those qualities. And here's some of the quotes. One person said, "Get the credit you deserve." Another person wrote, "It's up to us to tell the story that we want people to hear, that we want people to remember." A staff member wrote, and this is a quote, "Be proud of working and attending NKU. There are dedicated employees and students on our campus, and we should all take pride in our university." And one faculty member wrote, and this is a quote, "NKU is a light in the dark, leading the way to the future. NKU is also more than just buildings or programs. It is people, faculty, staff, students, and the community at large." Together, these responses inform our brand identity. And let me just take a moment to explain what I mean by that. As you know, when we developed our strategic plan, we articulated our mission, our vision, and our core values. Our mission statement communicates what we do, why we exist as an institution, our collective purpose. Our vision articulates our future aspiration, where we're going, what we want to become. And our core values communicate who we are, how we will do the work that is necessary to achieve our collective goals. Our brand is something different. It's not a tagline, it's not a slogan. Instead, our brand is the experience that people have with us. It is how people think about us, and perhaps more importantly, it is how people feel about our university. That rational response and emotional reaction, that experience, that brand, is represented by everything that we do and by everything that we say. Every contact is important. From prospective students who explore our website or who visit our campus for the first time, to our graduates who hear their name announced as they walk across stage at commencement. Every interaction creates that experience. In order to create an authentic, distinctive brand, we must commit to a promise that aligns with and supports our mission, our vision, and our values. This promise must unite all of us in an intentional, focused way of thinking and of acting. So we've developed a promise based upon the input that we received. We promise to put our students first. This promise is not new for us, but in order to maintain the trust of our students and our community, every decision we make must honor this commitment. Second, we promise to lead with excellence. In every classroom, in every department, each one of us, every task, every day, no excuses. And then third, we promise to make a lasting impact. This effort is not about individual achievement or temporary success. Our bold commitment is to transform lives and to elevate our community. So, we've prepared a short video. We've prepared a short video, a little quick on the trigger finger. We've prepared a short video that illustrates how this promise can be translated into a vibrant visual identity.
Here at Northern Kentucky University, we're cultivating innovative leaders who light the way to the future. We want to share this experience with everyone. The ideas that unite us, the beliefs that define us, and the story that inspires us. We promise to put our students first, to lead with excellence, to make a lasting impact, fostering a culture that encourages hard work, determination, and individuality. Our message demonstrates our beliefs, leadership, lasting impact, and an ongoing thirst for knowledge and understanding. Our visual identity features the NKU path, which lights the way to a clearer, brighter future, and embodies our promise: students first, excellence, lasting impact. There's always a right message to the right audience at the right time. When we deliver our message, we speak with an energetic, empowering, and self-affirming voice. A voice that is clear and strong, determined and ambitious, proud but approachable. We can all reach our full potential at NKU and carry the torch forward in our own unique way. It's time to share our story. It's time to share how great NKU truly is. It all starts with you. It's time to carry the torch.
The messaging and the visuals that you have just seen will soon begin to be incorporated all across the university in every communication, for every program, and for every activity. Now, for many of you, this guidance is welcome. For some of you, though, this consistency may present a challenge. But in order for us to create a clear, compelling brand, it is critical that we be consistent. Our strength lies in our ability to join forces together. So I ask you for your cooperation. And to all of you, I ask that you join me in committing once again to our promise. I ask each one of you to light a spark each day, a spark that others can see, a spark that others can feel. Working together, our individual sparks will merge into a burning flame, and our university will become that gem that will no longer be hidden, that gem that can no longer be hidden. So now let me tell you about the other significant initiative to bring appropriate and deserved recognition to our university, the Road to NKU. Over the last several months, along with several of our colleagues, I have been living our university's promise by sharing our story throughout the Commonwealth. From late September to early December, we visited 7 regions of Kentucky. We traveled from Pikeville to Paducah, from Ashland to Owensboro, from Somerset to Lexington, from Lee County to Louisville. During these visits, we met with high school students, guidance counselors, teachers, principals, and superintendents. We also met with many alumni, community and business leaders, and elected officials. I proudly told them that our university is on the rise, that something special is happening at Northern Kentucky University. I told them about our incubator program. This program is one of the top 5 university incubators in the world. Since its start in 2012, the incubator program has launched more than a dozen student-run companies, and these companies have raised more than $1 million in additional funding. I highlighted our reputation for academic innovation and academic excellence. For example, our undergraduate degree in health sciences was recently ranked as one of the top 25 degree programs of its kind in the country. Our university is committed to civic engagement and community service, and the Chase College of Law is a good example. Our law school was named a top 10 law school in the country for promoting pro bono service. At a time when some lawyers seem preoccupied with advancing their own personal interests, it is gratifying to all of us to know that our law school continues to instill important values that bring respect to the legal profession. Our social work department recently secured a $1.5 million grant to study trauma-focused care for children. This grant will enable our university to enhance our contributions to the behavioral health workforce. 3 months ago, the American Association of State Colleges and Universities announced the inaugural winners in a new awards program honoring member institutions for excellence and innovation. ASTU honored the virtual co-op program in the Center for Applied Informatics for its success in adapting the traditional co-op education model into an initiative that provides almost all services virtually. The program now engages more than 120 students each year, and these students develop mobile apps, websites, and other products for more than 200 companies, nonprofit organizations, and new businesses all across the region. And just before the holiday break, I received a letter that our university has been designated as a National Center of Academic Excellence in Information Assurance and Cybersecurity Education. Only 20 universities in the country have received this designation. This status means that our university will now be eligible for enhanced federal research grants in this important and growing area. Now, at the outset of each presentation in the schools, I displayed this graphic, which shows our growth and our impact. I told them that with the opening of Northern Terrace, we now have 2,000 students living on our campus. I also highlighted our average class size of 24 students, which is similar to the typical class sizes in their own high schools. I told them that at our university, we are proud. We are proud of the personal educational experience that our faculty and staff provide to our students. During my brief presentation, I featured some of the new facilities on our campus. I showed them this photograph of the renovation of Norse Commons, and I showed them this rendering of the expansion, the beautiful expansion of our recreation center. Many of the high school students I met expressed an interest in pursuing a career in healthcare. They were excited to hear about our plans for the Health Innovation Center. In addition to the new and renovated facilities, which enable excellent educational experiences on our campus, I told the students that a great university must provide a platform to expand the scope and breadth of a student's education. I told them that our study abroad opportunities are preparing students for a global society. Now more than ever, our students are seeing the world. Last year, more than 300 students traveled to more than 26 countries to advance their education. I showed the students this beautiful photo of our students in Fiji last summer, and I described the important research our students conducted under the direction of Professor Sharon Jones. I told the students that we offer study abroad opportunities year-round in a variety of disciplines and countries. In fact, 76 NKU students participated in study abroad programs just this past winter break, and they just returned home this week from London, Dublin, and Italy. In addition to study abroad experiences, I told them about our study away experiences. I shared this photograph of the students that Professor Ryan Saltzman took to Washington, D.C. this past summer. They told me that's called a group selfie. During a 2-week immersive course, the students met with a Secret Service agent, lawyers, an inspector general, a social media strategist, an alumnus who monitors drug cartels for the State Department, and many members of Congress. I told students that if they wanted to work directly with their faculty members and learn directly from outstanding scholars who care about their students, then they should enroll at our university. I'd like to share with you just one example of the personal educational experience we provide to our students. After enrolling at NKU, Holly Roseberry initially struggled to succeed. She was overwhelmed by college, and she didn't believe she had the ability to graduate. After changing her major twice, Holly decided to pursue another interest of hers, construction. Her goal now is to earn a degree in construction management, but she was still not sure that she had the potential to succeed, the potential to graduate. So she shared her concerns with one of her professors, Dr. Daniel Kent. After just one conversation, Holly left Professor Kent's office feeling inspired and optimistic. And this is a quote. "I then began to stay after many classes just to chat with my newfound advisor, who evidently saw potential in me that I couldn't see in myself." Through their one-on-one talks, Holly became ever more confident in her abilities. Then she began showing a natural lack for leadership, a key quality for a successful construction manager. Again, her words. "I finally found my niche. I could be me and still be successful at something. I'm not sure he ever knew it, but Dr. Kent's investment in me came at a time in my life when I needed it most. It's his belief in me that has stopped me from focusing on what I can't do and to think about all that I've done and all that I can do." Holly's words are the essence of our commitment to student success, and they speak to the first promise we renewed today, to put our students first. Now, Holly couldn't be with us today, but Professor Kent is here this morning. Professor Kent, please stand. On the road to NKU, I told the high school students that our faculty and staff are committed to the success of our students. On the road to NKU, I also played a short video to illustrate another important point, that our students are using their knowledge and skills to save lives. Here's a national news report about the Pulse Point mobile app that was developed a few years ago by our students in the Center for Applied Informatics.
Into action when he got a message alerting him that a baby nearby had stopped breathing. This morning, the power of technology helping to save lives.
We have an infant who's not breathing.
Okay, are they awake at all?
No.
When a month-old baby suddenly stopped breathing in Leslie Recker's shop, she called 911.
I saw her and she just was saying he's not breathing.
But just 2 blocks away, mechanic Jeff Olson heard an alarm go off on his phone. He registered his phone with the app Pulse Point, alerting people who know how to do CPR with local emergencies.
I looked at it and it said CPR needed, and it gave the address.
With first responders still several minutes away, Olson arrived and immediately performed a life-saving service.
This guy came out of nowhere and just scooped the baby up and really knew what he was doing, which was just such a blessing to all of us.
I don't think I've ever done CPR on an infant before, or even rescue breathing, and it was, when I got done, I shook for about 10 minutes.
The Spokane Fire Department grateful for the assist.
The reason why we are so invested in this technology is because you can be a lifesaver.
While Leslie, the mother, and her baby grateful for their new friend who had the foresight to simply download an app.
That's really awesome. And the Spokane Fire Department officials, they also added that they are so happy that they made the decision to become connected to Pulse Point. And this app has the potential to save thousands of lives out there. And Lara, you have.
So that app, the Pulse Point app, has now been adopted by more than 600 municipalities from coast to coast, from Spokane, San Diego, Los Angeles, all the way to New York. The mobile app developed by students here at Northern Kentucky University. And it's proof of another promise, that we are making a lasting impact. Now, in some of the schools we visited, our university is not particularly well known, but we attract students from virtually every county in the Commonwealth. And as we went from area to area and high school to high school, I introduced some of our students from their area to the students in those high schools. In Somerset, I featured Hattie Clark, who graduated from Marion County High School. Hattie is a senior majoring in theater and history. Hattie cherishes the relationships that she has developed with her professors, and she appreciates that our university has helped transform her from a shy woman into an outstanding leader. In Louisville, I introduced the high school students to our own John Jose, the president of our Student Government Association. John attributes his success to our faculty and staff who supported him, who challenged him, and who believed in him. In Eastern Kentucky, I talked about Helena Sizemore. Helena is from Manchester, Kentucky, and she graduated from Clay County High School. She is a senior majoring in anthropology, and this is what she said. NKU offers a strong feeling of community, a feeling of community that none of my friends at other universities can claim. In Lexington, I featured Deja Bartlett, who just graduated last May from Henry Clay High School. Deja is a freshman majoring in organizational leadership and communication studies, and as a freshman, she is already involved in the SGA and several other student organizations. And in Western Kentucky, I featured Justin Wynn. Justin is from Paducah, and he is majoring in international studies and journalism. He plans to use his degree to help preserve the environment. And he's one of the students who traveled to Fiji. And he said something that we all know and that we all believe. These are his words. I feel that NKU has a future that is yet to be defined. And then he said, our university, and again, this is a quote, our university possesses the potential to be something greater than it already is. There is no better way. There's no better way to describe what makes NKU special than to do it through the words of our students, through the experiences of our students, and the words and experiences of our faculty and staff and our graduates. On the road to NKU, I also discussed our transition to Division I. I told them that this fall our women's volleyball team and both our men's and women's soccer teams all advanced to the semifinals of the Atlantic Sun Conference tournaments. And for the second consecutive year, our men's cross-country team finished second in the A-Sun, and J.J. Weber was the individual champion once again this year. I told them that in the last 2 years, our men's basketball team has played Wisconsin, Northwestern, Nebraska, West Virginia, Purdue, North Carolina, and that team in Lexington called Kentucky. And in just about 12 months, we've been featured on ESPN's top 10 plays of the day 4 separate times. On the road to NKU, I couldn't pass it up. So I showed a short video of one of those remarkable plays, Jalen Billups' put-back dunk against the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill last December.
Northern Kentucky's on a 3-game win streak. Flournoy fires. And the foul jam from Jalen Billups. You questioned Jalen Billups in the first couple of minutes of this game.
I didn't question him.
He may have heard you.
Well, look, Candy Meeks right here gets caught staring at the fly of the ball. Can't really see it, but has no idea where Billups is at all.
Now, I also learned, I learned on the road to NKU that anytime you can show a play in which a basketball player from a school in Kentucky does something good against a basketball player from a school from North Carolina, that's a good day. It's a great dunk. I was fortunate to see it in person. But what's more exciting than the talent Jalen brings to the game is the courage that he has demonstrated in overcoming serious health challenges. Let me explain. On December 27, 2012, 1 year to the day, literally 1 year to the day before that monster dunk, Jalen fainted during a routine practice drill on our campus. That blackout ended Jalen's season. Over the next several months, he underwent numerous tests, and at one point, his doctors here sent him to the Minneapolis Heart Institute for more tests. Jalen was eventually diagnosed with arrhythmia, which is a serious heart condition. In order to treat his condition, his surgeons implanted a defibrillator in his chest. After he was cleared to practice by his doctors, I met with Jalen and his mother to talk about his possible return to basketball. It was important for me. It was important for me to know that they understood the significance of his decision. It also was an opportunity for me to tell Jalen face-to-face that he was an inspiration. I'm pleased to report that the prognosis now for Jalen is very good. And as you saw in this video, he is competing aggressively and successfully again on the court. But Jalen has learned that life offers no guarantees. And this health challenge, he said, has made him a better person. And these are his words. People say I was humble before, but now that this has happened, I've become more humble. It has changed me in the right way. Jalen couldn't be with us this morning. The team left, I understand, just a few minutes ago to travel to Nashville to play tomorrow night at Lipscomb. But let's acknowledge Jalen's contributions to our university. I also have to acknowledge one other thing. Actually, up until a few minutes ago, I was the president of the university. But as the president of the university, I have also understand one other thing. Jalen is probably likely to be the most popular student on campus. He is actually the unofficial mayor of Northern Kentucky University. So on the road to NKU, we hosted several receptions. At these receptions, I recognized local math teachers and librarians who are improving their communities through math education and literacy development. For their dedication to improve math skills among elementary school students, I presented a total of 50 math intervention teachers with our Trailblazer Award for mathematics education. Each math teacher is a graduate of a rigorous program developed by the Kentucky Center for Mathematics, which is located and hosted here on our campus. Each teacher in the program has become a leader at his or her school, helping other teachers to implement innovative strategies and tools for improving math education in the primary grades. This photograph shows the 6 math teachers just from the Paducah area alone who participated in the KCM program. This past year, in 1 year, KCM trained 1,400 math teachers in Kentucky. And those teachers, in turn, trained another 2,400 teachers. These teachers collectively taught more than 50,000 students in Kentucky. And their work has produced significant measurable results. Students who are tutored by KCM teachers gained, on average, more than one grade level of math achievement just in tutoring sessions alone. And the research has showed that these gains are sustained 7 years later. The work of KCM here at Northern Kentucky and these teachers is simply outstanding. At the various receptions, I also presented a total of 14 librarians from around the state with our Trailblazer Award for Leadership in Library Informatics. These librarians earned a bachelor's degree in library informatics from our university through one of the very few fully online undergraduate programs of its kind in the country. We know that our university is transforming our region. These two programs are just a couple examples that prove that we are also preparing children all across the Commonwealth to succeed in the 21st century. Now, on many stops on our tour, we met with local business and community leaders. For example, in Russell County, I met with the leaders of the local Chamber of Commerce. During this meeting, I discussed the importance of developing a new outcomes-based funding model for higher education. I've been saying that for a little bit all across the state. And I emphasized that a strategic investment of the resources in higher education, a strategic investment, would contribute to a more vibrant economy all across the state. In Ashland, I met with the members of the local United Way. During this meeting, I discussed our plans for the Health Innovation Center. I emphasized that the education, training, and research that will be conducted on our campus will improve the health of people all across Kentucky. And one conversation, our conversation, led to the article on the front page of the newspaper in Ashland. In addition to visiting high schools, hosting receptions, and meeting with community leaders, we visited 10 community colleges on the tour. Dr. Vicki Burling and her team met individually with community college students interested in transferring to NKU and former students who were thinking about returning to NKU to complete their degree. For example, we met Logan Pointer in Somerset. She was the first person from that area to reach out to us at our reception. He is currently finishing his associate's degree at Somerset Community College. He was thrilled to meet our Dean, Kevin Kirby, and as a result, Logan has now applied for admission to our Computer Information Technology program. We met Melinda Lyons at Big Sandy Community College in Prestonburg. Melinda works in the Human Resources Department at Big Sandy. She was so impressed with NKU that she applied the day we met her, and she is now enrolled in the semester that begins on Monday. She is now enrolled this semester in 2 courses in the Organizational Leadership program. In Lexington, we met Scott Ferguson, who dropped out of NKU 7 years ago. Scott has been readmitted to NKU for this semester, and he needs only 7 classes to complete his bachelor's degree in business administration. Finishing his degree will help him earn a promotion at work, and this is also what Scott said. It will serve as a valuable lesson to his daughter. You finish what you start. In visiting community colleges, one of our goals is to create more robust partnerships with these schools. We started this process in our own region with Gateway and Cincinnati State. These programs make earning a bachelor's degree easier, quicker, and more affordable. The pathway programs with Gateway and Cincinnati State provide a clear map of how a student can transfer to NKU and then earn a bachelor's degree in only 2 years here at our university. Presently, we have more than 40 pathways with Gateway and 23 pathways either approved or in development with Cincinnati State. Expanding these existing pathways and adding new partners is a priority for us. And here's why. I want to share just one story about one of our community college transfer students. Brian Dell began his college education at Cincinnati State in the fall of 2010. Now, of course, most freshmen arrive with first-week butterflies. Brian came to college, though, with the fear of certain failure. These are his words. After my second day of class, I was going to quit school. I had very little faith that I could complete my courses, let alone earn a degree. Now, in part, Brian's anxiety was because he had not been in a classroom since 1979, the year he graduated from Mount Healthy High School. But there was another reason for Brian's self-doubt. For most of his adult life, Brian had used and abused drugs. Marijuana at first, then cocaine, and then crack cocaine. As years turned into decades, Brian fell deeper into drug abuse. Brian hit bottom in 2007 when his father died. These are his words. "My mother looked me in the eyes and said, 'I'll probably die too before I see you get clean.'" Those words settled in his heart, and 1 year later, Brian awakened with a sense of purpose, a determination to quit drugs, and then to get a college education. This was his words. "It was time to accept responsibility. I decided that failure was no longer an option for me." Despite his initial anxiety, Brian excelled academically and socially while he was a student at Cincinnati State. He was invited to join Phi Theta Kappa, an international honor society. And Brian was elected president of the Black Male Initiative, a campus organization dedicated to excellence in education, leadership, and community service. While at Cincinnati State, he earned a nearly perfect GPA. He once was addicted to drugs, and then in college, as Brian said, he became addicted to A's. And then in 2013, Brian transferred to our university. And just as he had at Cincinnati State, Brian excelled at NKU. Brian majored in social work, and he made the dean's list every semester. A few weeks ago at our December commencement, I had the privilege of shaking Brian's hand when he was awarded a bachelor's degree, graduating with a GPA of 3.82. Brian is currently studying to become a licensed social worker. He continues to work at the Talbert House, a network of social service agencies, and to further his career, Brian begins graduate school in social work in June at Northern Kentucky University. At our university, Brian found his calling to help others overcome their addictions. These are his words. "All of us know someone who is struggling with an addiction. I want to be their beacon of hope." Brian's mother, Annette, not only lived long enough to see her son become drug-free, Ms. Richardson was also able to see her son walk across the stage at our commencement last month. And Mrs. Richardson is here again this morning with Brian, along with Brian's aunt, Antoinette Sutton, Brian's sister, Anita Del Tony, and Brian's fiancée, Robin Mitchell Hill. Brian and your family, would you please stand so we can recognize you? So thank you, Brian. Thank you for sharing, allowing us to share that story with our university this morning. I just hope you understand I'm going to be using that line, "addicted to A's," in my own house from time to time. Your journey, Brian, your journey demonstrates the important role our university plays in ensuring success of students all across the region. As we traveled to the four corners of the state, we visited communities where our university is not very well known. But virtually everywhere we went, there were people with a connection to Northern Kentucky University. I met parents of current students and of our recent graduates. Everyone I met expressed their enthusiasm and gratitude for our university. At Bourbon County High School, I met Crystal McCarty and Patty Caswell. Crystal's daughter, Beth Ann, is a current student, and Patty's son, Adam, graduated from NKU in 2009. Adam is now the Vice President of Public Affairs at the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. When I visited Lexington, I met Paula and Greg Worley and Robin and David Johnson. Paula and Greg's daughter, Michelle, is the president of NKU's Pan-Hellenic Council. Robin and David's son, Colton, is a senior at NKU. Colton wants to work at NKU in student affairs so he can serve as mentors to students because he said he wants to provide the kind of support that he received when he was a student here. When I visited Louisville, I met Lisa Razor. Lisa's son, David Trump, is a senior majoring in theater. He's performed in 7 major productions at NKU, and he has already received several scholarship offers to attend graduate school. At Assumption High School, I met Kathy Fleischer and Tricia Hetty. Kathy's daughter, Julia, is an NKU graduate. Tricia's son, Quint, is a senior and a member of our baseball team. When I visited Paul Blazer High School in Ashland, I met Jane Dixon, whose son Jacob is a senior here. As you can see in this photograph, Jane was already proudly wearing her black and gold t-shirt for our visit to her high school. At Owensboro High School, I met Kathy Hughes. Kathy teaches at the high school, and her daughter Hannah is a biology major here. As we traveled from Pikeville to Paducah, we were also greeted and warmly welcomed by many loyal and successful NKU graduates. At our reception in Pikeville, I met a large group of Chase Law graduates, including Mickey McGuire, Chris Harris, Larry Thompson, Dan and Dave Stratton, and Stephen Hogg. In Paducah, I visited with Glenn Denton, another successful Chase alum. Glenn is a member of the Council on Post-Secondary Education. In Ashland, I met James Biggs, who graduated from NKU in 1993. He's the boys' basketball coach and an English teacher at Paul Blazer High School. In Owensboro, I met Nick Brake. Both Nick and his wife are NKU graduates. Nick is the superintendent of the Owensboro Independent School District. Since visiting Owensboro High School during the tour, I have learned that more than 50 Owensboro seniors have applied for admission to NKU for next fall. It's clear that Nick and his wife are great representatives of our university. I also had the privilege of visiting the classrooms of 2 NKU graduates who are enthusiastic and innovative educators. I'd like to tell you about them. Elizabeth Coleman Pelfrey earned her biology degree from NKU in 2009. While at NKU, she was a leader in the Student Government Association and in several other student organizations. After graduating, she explored a few career paths before discovering that her calling was teaching. So she returned to school, earned a master's degree, and joined the faculty at Dunbar High School in Lexington. She invited me to speak to her science class and to another teacher's social studies class. Her classroom was full of reminders of her outstanding education from NKU. She's got a pennant, an NKU magnet. And then I asked her who was the most influential professor she had at NKU, and she responded without hesitation, Dr. Richard Durchie, who teaches classes related to reptiles and amphibians. I should have guessed that because if you looked around her class, his influence on her was evident. Her classroom is filled with aquariums featuring native Kentucky species. During my visit to Scott County, I met Michael Tackett, a teacher at Elkhorn Crossing School and a 2004 Chase graduate. Elkhorn Crossing is the largest career and technical high school in the state and frankly one of the most innovative high schools I have ever seen. The school is divided into 5 academic villages: engineering, biomedical sciences, health sciences, media arts, and law and justice. These villages are very similar to college majors. Michael teaches in the Law and Justice Village, as you can see in this photograph. He invited me to speak about my experience prosecuting the Oklahoma City bombing case. His classroom also includes, you can't see it in the photograph, but it includes a state-of-the-art mock trial courtroom. And Michael uses his legal background to get students excited about a variety of fields in law and law enforcement. At our university, we appreciate the transformative power of education, and we value the service that we provide to our students and our community. It is gratifying. It's gratifying and inspiring to see that so many of our graduates are extending this honorable legacy of education and service. Now, it took a lot of time and effort to plan and execute the road to NKU. By the end of the tour, we had spoken to approximately 3,000 high school students at 25 different high schools. And we had traveled 2,741 miles. It's about the same distance it takes to drive from New York City to Los Angeles. Now, on the tour, I rode with my good friend Joe Wind. We had 3 GPS devices in the car, one on my phone, one on his phone, and one in the car. And we rarely got directly from point A to point B. So, Joe, I'm sure we drove even many more miles than 2,700. But all of the time, all of the effort are well worth it. I understand that this year there's been a significant increase in the number of applicants from the 25 high schools we visited. Last year at this time, we had received 400 applications from students at the 25 high schools we visited. As of this Monday, the same point in time, more than 600 students from those high schools have applied to NKU, an increase of 55%. And bear in mind, thank you, and bear in mind that many of the 3,000 students we met with weren't high school seniors. They were freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, so we don't even yet know what final effect the tour will have. I also recently learned that 2 of those high schools we visited, Southwestern High School in Somerset and Henderson County High School, have already organized bus trips to NKU this spring so that they can bring a large number of students to visit our campus. And I am certain that people all across the Commonwealth now know what we know, that something special is happening at Northern Kentucky University. There were a lot of people who participated in this effort. Nearly 100 staff and faculty contributed to some aspect of the tour. Thank you all. Thank you all for your contributions. And in particular, I want to recognize Joe and Vicki Burling, Katie Hershedy, and Melissa Gorbant. The 4 of them organized all of the trips and ensured our success. And I need to take just one moment to recognize in particular Melissa's work. So after my presentation to the high school, I would ask Melissa to join me on stage or in front of the students because I needed her to help me answer the questions. She probably answered, in those 25 high schools all combined, she probably answered more than 1,000 questions, and I think she was stumped only once. But my favorite moment came when we were visiting Russell High School, which is the high school where Melissa went and where Melissa graduated. We were in the library, and about 50 students were present. At each of the high schools, when a student asked a question, in order to induce some questions, we would give a student who raised his or her hand and asked a question, we'd give them an NKU t-shirt. Well, when we were at Russell, I noticed that one young woman had her hand up for a long, long time. Eventually, I intervened, and I asked Melissa to call on this young woman, and there were 2 reasons why I did it. First, this young woman had her hand up for a long time. I thought the blood was flowing out of her hand. But second, and more importantly, this student was wearing a t-shirt from another university. And of all things, it was Harvard University. So as a Yale graduate, I had to take immediate action and intervene and call on Melissa. And this is the photograph of the moment when I explained to Melissa why we were calling on this poor young woman. To Melissa and to all of the women and men who made the road to NKU possible, who made the road to NKU a success, again, thank you all very much. So now I want to just share another special, memorable moment, one from our trip to Lee County. This memory also involves a young student who waited very patiently to have her question answered. When we visited Lee County, the superintendent, Dr. Jim Evans, arranged for us to meet with a group of high-achieving high school students and several high-achieving middle school students. I ended my presentation that day the same way I ended each one of those presentations, with this photograph. And I used this photograph to make 2 points. First, I think this photograph provides a good sense of the size and layout of our campus. Second, it shows how close we are to Cincinnati. You can see the skyline there, way in the center, kind of to the center, slightly to the left. And I pointed out the city skyline. I told the students that this location in a major metropolitan area provided experiential learning opportunities, as well as the opportunity to enjoy professional sports and world-class art and entertainment. And I said that with an NKU ID, our students can ride the bus for free to downtown Cincinnati. During the visit to Lee County, there were 2 young students sitting in the last row in the auditorium. And here's a photograph of the entire group outside the high school after our event. The 2 young girls that I was talking about are just to the left of that sign. It's actually not the first girl to the left, but the girl in kind of the bright pink and then the girl in the faded pink. The 2 young girls are Jenna Dunaway, she's the 3rd one in the brunette with the white vest, and Kennedy Lambert, she's the blonde girl. After my presentation, Jenna raised her hand and Melissa called on her pretty quickly. But Kennedy had her hand up in the back for a long time. So eventually, again, I intervened and I called on her, and here's what she asked. She said, "So if we go to your college, does that mean we can go to Cincinnati?" And I said, "Yes. If you come to NKU, you can go to Cincinnati." So Kennedy leaned over to Jenna and she said, "If we go there, we can go to Cincinnati." Well, I was so impressed with their enthusiasm that I decided these two young ladies shouldn't have to wait 5 or 6 years to come to tour our campus, to see our community, and yes, to visit Cincinnati. So with the help of some of our friends, I'm pleased to tell you that Jenna and Kennedy and their mothers, Janet and Melissa, are here with us today. Would you four ladies please stand? Come on. Also with us is Dr. Jim Evans, the superintendent. Would you please stand, Jim? Thank you. So we didn't even need to tell them to wear these t-shirts, right? Okay. So they came up last evening. They stayed in the area, but they don't know what's about to happen with them today. I told them, their mothers, to keep this a secret. So ladies, here's what's going to happen. After this event today, you're going to take a tour of our campus, and you're going to finish that tour at our bookstore, and our friends at Barnes & Noble have some gifts for you, okay, for you and your family. Then after lunch at Dewey's Pizza, you're going to get a, hold on, you're going to get a tour of the Newport Aquarium. One of our graduates, Allison Rebush, is not only going to give you a tour, but she's going to take you behind the scenes at the Newport Aquarium, okay? Then you're going to go back to the hotel and get a little rest, because after dinner tonight, we have a very special surprise for you. One of our graduates, Todd Dusing, has arranged to get you and your mothers tickets to the Aronoff Center to see the Broadway production of Cinderella tonight. So Kennedy and Jenna, you're going to Cincinnati. So now they know what we know. That something special, every day, something very special is happening at Northern Kentucky University. The road to NKU was a great way for us to promote the university, to inform people all across the state about our outstanding programs and about our excellent faculty, about our excellent staff, and our outstanding students. But it was also, upon reflection, it was also a great way for me to learn more about Kentucky, to learn more about the people who live in small towns and in larger cities, from Pikeville to Paducah. It was helpful to hear about their challenges. They're similar to all of ours. It was also helpful and inspiring to hear about their dreams. And I learned a very important lesson about the fundamental benefit, about the lasting impact of our tour. I learned that lesson during our visit to Henderson County. Henderson County is a rural area in western Kentucky, just across the Ohio River from Evansville, Indiana. After our presentation to a large group of students at Henderson County High School, I had the chance to speak with and visit with the principal, Chad Thompson. Mr. Thompson told me that many of the students at his high school can't even think about applying to college because they don't believe that they can afford it. But Mr. Thompson said that our visit may have expanded their horizons, that our visit may have encouraged his students to believe that attending college was a realistic goal. And here's what he told me. These are his words. That a university president came to our school spoke volumes to our students. I could see the gleam in their eyes. You could see them perk up. When they see a president come and talk about all of the great things going on at his university, you see hope. You see hope start to well up in these kids. You saw their eyes light up. When we embarked on the road to NKU, I thought we were promoting our university. But I learned that we were planting seeds of hope. When we embarked on the road to NKU, I thought we were selling our programs. But I learned that we were igniting sparks of curiosity and sparks of ambition, sparks that can be ignited into flames that will light the way to a brighter future for our community, for our Commonwealth, for our country, and our world. As we embark on another semester filled with great promise, let us all remember this valuable lesson, that we are transforming people's lives, and together we are helping to create a better world. And let us all live the promise that will enable our students to fulfill their potential with us to create that better world. And then, thank you all. Thank you all for your service and for your commitment. And then let's go to work. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. So before we conclude, we have one final performance. Stick with us. Jason Vest is going to return to the stage. Jason is going to perform a song from Les Miserables. He's going to perform Bring Me Home. Jason will be accompanied by Jamie Strawn. Jason's going to be performing the lead role along with our students in the production of Les Mis, which is featured in February. Jason.
God on high, hear my prayer. In my need, you have always been there. He is young, he's afraid. Let him rest, heaven blessed. Bring him home, bring him home, bring him home. He's like the son I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summers die one by one, how soon they fly on and on. And I am old and will be gone. Bring him peace, bring him joy. He is young, he is only a boy. You can take, you can give. Let him be, let him live. If I die, let me die. Let him live. Bring him home. Bring him home. Bring him home.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the alma mater led by Katie Miller and Noah Berry, accompanied by Damon Stevens.
Northern, let your vision lead us, hearts of women, men, and youth. Help us seek the higher virtues, guide us to the greater truth. Northern, northern alma mater, may our lives enrich your name, and in time leave us your children, better far than when we